Hello guys, my name is Nenad, I'm master candidate from Serbia. Today we are going to talk about 3 openings for white for beginners. We are going to talk about e4 move. It is Fischer said that it is best by test, and if it is good for Fischer, it's good for us too. E4 move enables many moves with the bishop, enables knight to jump here, queen to go out, and you like to go out with your queen if you're a beginner, and so on. The response for the black can be e5, c5 and e6, the French defense. That is the 3 main lines and main response for the black. We are first look at this e5 response. After e5, I recommend that you play knight to f3. It is the most classical of all classical moves. It attacks this e5 pawn, and it support the d4 thrust with the pawn. And black can respond with various ways. He can go knight to c6, knight to f6 if he had chess. It's the Petrov defense, one of the most drawerish lines in chess. But we are going to look most common reply, which is knight to c6. And now you can play bishop to c4 or bishop to c5. And I recommend that you play bishop to c4. And this is why. If you play, for example, bishop to c5, it is very theoretical opening. It is the Ruy Lopez opening. I just show you one sample line. Black can play Berlin, you play anti-Berlin with d3, and for example black can play this quiet move to set the trap, knight to a7, and if you're a beginner you see this pawn is undefended and you go after this pawn, but it's actually the Mortimer trap, and already in move I don't know 5 you're lost, because black can play c6, you must go back with the bishop, for example here, and already black can play queen to a4, give check and pick up one of these pieces, and black is winning. So I recommend that you play bishop to c4, and here main reply is knight to f3, knight to f6, sorry, and bishop to c5. We'll see the bishop to c5 move. It is the Gioco Piano. It is one of the most oldest openings in chess. Here I recommend that you play c3 and preparing to strike in the center with d4 move. Black most common reply with knight to f6. Here take this e4 pawn, but you could castle or you could play d4 move. I recommend that you strike in the center with d4. It is very sharp opening, but you can have fun in this line. We have ed4, for example, and we have cd4 capture in the center. And now black can go back or he can give check, and most often black would give check, and you can block various ways, but I recommend that you play knight to c3. And here this pawn is look that it is the undefended, but it is very poisoned pawn, because if black take this pawn, you can castle, for example, and again this knight is attacked 2 times, so black could capture this knight, and after bishop to c3 actually you can leave your rook hanging, and but you prevent your opponent from castling, and it is these bishops are monster, and you're preparing check with your rook in the future. And if for example black take your rook, it is very good for us, because we give check and black cannot go because of this bishop. He cannot go here from this bishop, so he can block with the knight. We'll pick up the knight, and the queen is suffocated, so she must be recaptured. We give check, and we are up material and up in development, and should have easy game. That is one e4 line. And now we're gonna look at this Sicilian game. We are going to look at one game from Magnus Carlsen. He played online in Bante Blitz championship against the 2200 level player. He plays e4, his opponent plays c5. He plays knight to f3, like we said, most classical move, and we have d6, the open preparing to open Sicilian. We have d4, like we said, open Sicilian, exchange in the center, and we have a knight to d4 for Carlsen. His opponent played knight to f6, he plays knight to c3. We have g6, and it is already the dragon variation. Black preparing to play this move and short castle, but Carlsen was willing to accept the challenge, and he plays bishop to e3. He said in the commentary that he's unafraid. Maybe a little afraid, like he said. His opponent plays knight to g7, and Carlsen play f3. This is an important move because he preparing this pawn storm on the king side. He can castle long, or he can castle short. His opponent castle, and Carlsen played queen to d2. For example, he have something like this in mind to exchange the bishop or something else. We will see. His opponent play a6, and Carlsen long castle. We have bishop to d7, and Carlsen beginning his pawn storm. And it is unbelievable that this is the move 10. In 5 moves the game is over. His opponent plays b5, desperately trying to counter play on the queen side, but Carlsen continued his pawn storm. h4. We have knight to c6, h5 as planned, gh5, g5, attacking this knight. And a knight goes back. He don't have any good squares, so he must go back. And Carlsen plays queen to h2, and this pawn cannot be defended. For his opponent plays knight to a5, and Carlsen take this pawn, and this checkmate cannot be defended. It can be only prolonged with this move, but it is hopeless, and in this position his opponent resigned. So Carlsen crushed 2200 opponent in just 15 moves. Okay, now we'll see the final and third most popular opponent against e5. We will see e6 defense, which is the French defense. Black plays e6, he preparing to d5 push and fight for the center. We have d4 move, we have d5, and I recommend in this position that you don't complicate it. If you are a beginner, you can play knight to c3, you can play knight to d2, you can play advanced variation, or you can play exchange variation. I recommend to play exchange variation because it is the most simple to play. We have exchange in the center, and you can play bishop to d3. Your opponent can copycat you. He can play bishop to d6, you can play knight to f3, and you already can castle in next move, put your kings to the safety. You can your opponent can play knight to f6, and we have short castle. You can pin your opponent knight, and it can be annoying ping, so your opponent can play h6, you go back, and your opponent play knight to c6. And in most French lines, you play c3 move, not knight to c3, because this pawn can be loose. So you can play c3, your opponent develop his bishop, you develop your knight, and after, for example, rook to e8, he put his rook on the open file, you can play queen to b3, and you already finish your development in 11 moves. You short castle, you attack this, you're attacking this pawn, also this pawn. This pawn is defended, but you already threatened to take this knight and take this pawn, so your rooks are connected, and like we said, all pieces are ready to go. So that is one sample line for the French defense. That is 3 main lines for the white, and you can practice and see what line is most fit for you. That is it for today. See you in next video.